and do that at the time. That takes us to item 3, public participation. So today we have some public forums. I'd like to welcome first up John Minto, National Chair of the Palestine Solidarity Network, Aotearoa. John here? Yes. Welcome. Welcome, John. You have 5 minutes to speak to us.
Can you turn the button on?
Push the...
So it goes green. Push the button.
There it is.
Great.
Push the button.
You're on. No. Push the button again. So, yep, you're on now.
I'm on now.
Yep.
Okay. Can you all hear that okay?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. Look, it's... again, thank you very much for the opportunity of coming and speaking to you this morning. I really appreciate that. It's it's a really difficult time for people in Christchurch, people around the world who are sort of, all of us sort of seeing day after day a genocide occurring on the other side of the world. And I know if people don't want to use the word genocide, then you could say it's the wholesale slaughter of human beings, which is occurring in Gaza right now. And it's been going on for 8 months. So it's an absolute horror for all of us here. And I know it will be for the council and for people around the council table here. We all want to see this war over. We all want to see the hostages released, and that includes the 3,500 Palestinian hostages which are held in detention without trial in Israeli prisons. So we've got an incredibly difficult situation which has gone on for 76 years. It's not something which happened 8 months ago. This started in 1948, and 76 years we've watched this. And this is what's been happening in the last 8 months is the worst situation that Palestinians have faced since the 1967 war. It is absolutely horrific. And the majority of people who have been killed, of the 37,000 people that are killed now, the majority have been women and children. So, in terms of New Zealand secondary schools, New Zealand primary schools, I gave up counting how many, the children have been killed. It's up in a couple of hundred New Zealand primary schools would be the equivalent now of those who've been killed. So it's an appalling situation, and the international community have intervened through South Africa, taking a case to the International Court of Justice, and a plausible case of genocide exists. And then the International Court of Justice have now ordered Israel to stop its offensive in Rafah. Israel's response to that has been to ignore the ICJ ruling, and in the 48 hours following the ICJ ruling, they launched 60 airstrikes against Palestinians in Rafah and other areas of the Gaza Strip. So the slaughter goes on. So are we all sort of helpless and hopeless? Well, we're not. We're one of the countries farthest away from this conflict of anyone, but we can take action. And the presentation I've given to you, which I think you should all have, we're asking you to take 2 steps. So the first step is the step which ECAN took earlier this year, Environment Canterbury, which said that, and I should say these 2 steps are the first steps the council could take in terms of accountability, providing some accountability for Israel for what it's doing. And the first is to stop all purchases of goods and services from companies that the United Nations Human Rights Council have identified as being complicit in the building of illegal Israeli settlements on Palestinian land. So that's something we can do, something practical we can do. It's something the New Zealand government supports, both the National Party and the Labour Party. There's bipartisan support for UN Security Council Resolution 2334, and that consensus will be here right across the Christchurch community as well. So we're asking the council to take action on that resolution in the way that I've indicated. And secondly, we have under the Genocide Convention, countries are required to take action to prevent genocide. So when they talk about, in the Genocide Convention, it talks about prevention as the first thing that comes up. And it's called the Convention to Prevent and Punish the Crime of Genocide. Prevention is the most important thing. The council can request the Littleton Port Company to stop giving services to Zim Shipping, because Zim Shipping says their first priority is to provide arms and ammunition to Israel for use by the Israeli military and at the request of the Israeli government. So those are two practical steps we can do, and I think that the absolute minimum we can do. I think you'll all be able to think of other things we can do, but those are the two things that I'm asking you to consider today.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much for coming in. We'll get some advice on that, on your requests.
Okay.
Thank you. Next up is Will Alexander.